It has been a long time since I did YouTube videos. I used to vlog a very long time ago, but that that died. And I used to blog as well, and I've opened up my Patreon again, and I'm blogging there again. Some of you know that I used to blog on WordPress, but I had to stop being as open there because of some real life baloney that got in the way of me being able to share openly as much as I wanted to. So if you're interested, you can go to my Patreon. I will be able to blog there behind the privacy of the paid subscription with more witchiness without worry, you know. And I've been doing stuff on TikTok and it's great, but I talk a lot, and 60 seconds is not quite enough to ever really get something out. It's not enough to give you the full story. It's not enough to give you a lot of information. You get little snippets, and then you move on. So I'm going to dust off this channel and occasionally post stuff here, and sometimes I'll do videos for my Patreon, and I'll still be using TikTok and Instagram and all that. But I had posted today about everybody being worried about being hexed, and that those videos are kind of making the rounds right now. And it's just, I saw a video the other day by Inciting Riot, I believe it was, who was talking about how the videos that are fear mongering tend to get more reach, and so they're seen by more people. And we're all very stressed right now. We're all very high anxiety because we've been locked inside. The pandemic's going on. People can't see their loved ones. We are out of touch with things that sometimes kept us grounded. And so right now it makes sense that there is a lot of like anxiety and fear mongering, and even if it's not what it's meant to do, it does sort of spread that extra anxiety that's like, oh, maybe that's what's wrong with me. Maybe I keep seeing these videos about hexes. Maybe that's what's wrong with me. Maybe it's a sign. And no, it's just the algorithm because those videos are getting more clicks. That's all it is. So I want to remind people to stop. Take 5 minutes to just ground and meditate and do a self check-in with yourself. Like, so many of us are holding on to so much anxiety and stress right now that we don't even realize. Like, my shoulders are constantly crunchy. And I mean, I don't really have anything to be stressed about. I still have my job. My husband still has his job. We're all healthy, but there still is that oppressive anxiety from society on us that just sort of hangs around like a cloud. And it's not that we've been hexed, it's just that there's a lot of stuff going on right now that is keeping us kind of tight, you know. So my advice always to any people when they come to me and they're talking about stuff is no, stop. First, we have to look at the mundane before the magical, before we start assuming everything is some sort of sign or a hex or whatever. No, let's stop and let's look at what is going on around us in our environment. What is leading us to feel this way? What are the other factors that could be causing these issues? And then from there, we need to calm ourselves down. We need to take time to do some self-care. And self-care is different for everybody. Maybe that means you go for a walk in the sunshine. Maybe that means you go and sit in front of your altar with your candles lit and just be calm. Maybe that means you go take a bubble bath, or maybe you go dance or exercise. There are so many different things you can do to make yourself feel better. And then once you feel more grounded and more like yourself, more like, okay, I'm more sure of myself. Then sure, if you think that you might still have a hex, then start looking at other things. Start looking at possibilities and do some of those rituals and spells people are putting out there. But don't ever think that just because you're seeing a lot of the same videos over and over, that means that's some sort of sign to you. The algorithm has taught us that videos about drama, videos about fear mongering, videos about particular topics are always going to do better because people are going to click on them and engage with them more. And then they give us more of them. So, just sometimes take that step back and remember. And I know too, especially if you are a newer witch, there is that passion and excitement that, you're like, everything is a sign. And I remember that way, like where you're like, I remember going to my elders and having some of the most, now looking back, ridiculous questions, which they handled very gracefully and I appreciate. But now realizing that was just my enthusiasm and my excitement coming through to think that everything was magical. And some of it's not, and they were very kind to me always when they were like, no, I don't think that's what that means. I think maybe this, that, or whatever, and I appreciate that they were always very level-headed with me. Because now, as I am learning, not all elders out there are as respectful or kind, and I am considering myself very lucky right now, very lucky for the upbringing I had in paganism. Yeah, so that's a little ramble, some things to think about. Um, and I mean, yeah, maybe at the end you realize you have been hexed, and there are steps you can take to help with that. As I always teach my students, I think protection is the first thing you got to do, and have your protections in place. But I also want people to be rooted in reality and the mundane first before they get all in a panic, because you know what, being really anxious and freaking out about those things is not good for your body or your mental health either. Like, that's just gonna cause all sorts of things to happen in you, the more stressed you are. And so, take care of yourself first, and then once you feel a little better, look at the magical side of things.